Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, people had done sequels before, but it was like Godfather 2 that really kind of put forth the idea out there that you could actually do a sequel that could possibly be even, as good as the first one, and even like work as a companion piece.
And
there had never been a part 2 before. Oh no, exactly. It was like, I mean, when most people now, I mean, they were so successful in that way that when most people now, they say, yeah, I remember the scene in The Godfather, and then you don't know if they're describing Godfather 1 or Godfather 2. They just kind of blend.
Seamless.
Well, the other punch of the 1-2 punch that changed everything was, one, there was the whole happy endings thing, which kind of brought an end to that nihilistic period, which is a very sad thing. For a little while there, you could kind of do whatever you want.
He also worked under a bunch of different pseudonyms. So he's got a bunch of terrific films under the name Jimmy Shaw.
Right.
That Jimmy Shaw is Lee Sao Nam. So also one of my other favorite Lee Sao Nam movies is he did Fist of Fury Part 2.
Yeah.
With Bruce Lee, which is a terrific movie. I mean, literally right up there with the first movie. And again, another magnificent Lo-Li performance.
Yep.
At the end of the movie. And that movie actually has some of my favorite dialogue in a martial arts film. One, Bruce Lee is amazing in that movie, and not like as a Bruce Lee impersonator. Frankly, I actually think Bruce Lee is a better actor than Bruce Lee, and I think especially when you see him in Fist of Fury Part 2, surrounded by the exact same cast as Fist of Fury, I think you see it. He's a better actor, and when they have the final confrontation with Lo-Li playing the Japanese guy, as opposed to the normal, you bastard, I'm gonna kill you, as opposed to that normal kind of antagonism, they have a very interesting discussion for a second before they fight. Lo-Li is practicing his calligraphy, and he's working on Chinese calligraphy, and Bruce Lee looks at it and he goes, "Oh no, this is actually quite good. You're very talented at this." And Lo-Li's, "Oh no, not really. I'm only playing around. I don't have a wrist for the Chinese calligraphy." No. Don't sell yourself short. No, you really are very talented at this. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
I would have guessed you were so talented. Your Chinese paintings are extremely good.
You're too kind. Chinese paintings need flexible wrists.
and it's just this, it's this wonderful back and forth that they have before they go out to kill each other. and it's so rare to actually have any moments of grace from a Japanese character in a Hong Kong martial art movie. That it's like, oh, what the hell's going on here? But it's just so classic, and the two actors pull it off so well. It's a wonderful moment.
The same thing follows in the Jaws sequel, because it's like, okay, it's just another shark, and then we're gonna watch 4, 5, or 6 random attacks and everything, and then Murray Hamilton is gonna say, "Don't close the beach again," and then Brody's gonna have to go out there and fight this beast again. Now, having said that, I actually think Jaws 2 the ending is horrible. The ending of Jaws 2 is horrible. What ruins Jaws 2 is the way they kill the shark. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I keep waiting for Fonzie to water ski over him, all right? It literally jumps the shark. I mean, but the shark looks the same as the one from Happy Days, all right? The beach looks the same. I totally expect to see Fonzie flying over the climax. But, but Jonas Schwartz actually did a pretty good job up until that time, all right, by spacing out the attacks. And he has the one attack that's terrific, the one with Ann Dusenberry, where it's like the young guy and the girl and the sailboat. That attack is good enough to be in the first movie. Where the shark gets the guy and like heads towards the boat. That's good enough to be in the first movie. That's the one attack sequence that is good as the first film. That literally could have been in the first movie. But the thing about it is Jaws was much more than random attacks by the shark until they finally get their shit together to attack him. it had all this characterization, and it had all this comedy, and it had these three magnificent characters, and it was about their fighting and their bonding. And so it was just much more than all of that. However, even for people who put down Jaws 2, there is something kind of great in Jaws 2 that can't be denied, and that is getting to watch Roy Scheider play his iconic character, Matt Brody, one more time, just to see him be in the uniform and playing that iconic character. One more chance at it is pretty cool.
One of the things I think is really fascinating about Borman and the legacy that he left behind is that he's known as much for his films that have kind of become punchlines as he is known for his good films.
Yeah.
Like Point Blank and like Deliverance. I mean, what do you think about this idea of a filmmaker who you can't always control what your legacy is?
Mm-hmm. Well, but I mean, I don't know if that quite applies to him because he was, when he did his wild movies, they are so wild and so out there. I don't know how you conceive without at least thinking that some people might laugh at it. I think it was taken completely by surprise by Exorcist II, The Heretic. But that's that whole. There's that line that Pauline Kael said that if you watch Exorcist II, The Heretic with the sound off, you might think it's a masterpiece.
Goes on, goes on, goes on.
I really like Zombie. Zombie, I think, works more from its mythology kind of standpoint. Like you can imagine other zombie movies, and that's why I like the idea of a zombie comic book was a really neat idea. As good as I like Zombie 2, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I think Dawn of the Dead is a real masterpiece. You know? Zombie 2, half of it is a really bad movie. All right, but take away the horrible Ian Richardson and his horrible balding, I don't know what the hell kind of comb over thing he has in that. I mean, the only one is that it was really any good in is John Richardson. He's in a completely other movie. He's in a much classier movie. Having said that, though, the level of gore was in a different area than the flowing blood and the flowing limbs of Dawn of the Dead. And there was no comedy wrapped up in there of the rolling head and then it lands on a bag that says shop at Kmart. All right, I mean, that was Romero's level. But just, the whole Caribbean, West Indies aspect of it all really creates its own mythology, all right? It gives it its own sense of mythology.
What has the old school zombie? The guy, the person trying to create a race of slaves.
Yes, and then the fact that they truly are the decomposed bodies of dead black villagers. And then the true mayhem when they get their hands on you that they exude. And it's one of those movies that, you have to suffer through a lot in the first 20 minutes, and it doesn't really get that much better for the next 20 minutes. But by that point in time, the story they're telling isn't so bad. And so you do get caught up in it. Once you're finally on the island, once John Richardson enters it, you actually are caught up in the story. And then it has a whiz-bang ending. The last 20 minutes is terrific.
And the zombie fights a shark.
And the zombie fights the shark is just one of the greatest moments in cinema history. All right, as far as I'm concerned, it's just one of the most, cinema entre gens. Just so outrageous, you can't believe what you're seeing. Am I really seeing this? Is this really happening? And then it has one of the great money shots of all time, with the eye into the splinter. Yeah, literally, truly, done like an opera aria. Literally set up like it's the show-stopping curtain number of an opera. And so here is what in 1979 would have been my favorite movie of the year, Rocky II.
Okay.
To me, one, I like Rocky II more than Rocky I.
Maybe there were too many Rockies.
Yeah.
It could be.
As far as I'm concerned, he could have stopped doing them after the second one. I loved the second one. To some degree, I actually like the second one even more than the first one.
Right, a lot of people did.
Third, 4, 5,
Who's the enemy? Who's the opponent in Rocky
Oh,
II?
it's Apollo Creed again. It's their big, it's their big rematch. And there also was this aspect because after Rocky, Stallone, his follow-ups didn't do well, and the press made a big deal about that, about how Fist flopped and Paradise Alley was a flop. I didn't know it was a flop. All right, I saw it 3 times. I didn't know it was a flop.
I love that.
But they were really taking him. There was the press machine that had made him the Cinderella boy was now rolling over on him. And they go, he can only play as a stupid boxer. That's all he can do. And he's completely flopped out. And he's a real loudmouth in his press interviews. And so then he comes out with Rocky II. And now he's directed Rocky II. So Rocky II kind of has to work, or he is, Sylvester come lately. And it's a smash.
Yeah.
It's a terrific movie. It actually betters on a lot of the aspects of Rocky. And he is beyond charming in the film. It was like, after all the whole Sylvester Stallone, the celebrity, it kind of got put through the ringer to a giant degree. But to see him play the Rocky character again, it actually reminded you why you liked Rocky so much in the first place. And like, the first Rocky movie is more of a character study. This is more of a personality expansion.
Right.
But it works completely as a personality expansion. Right. It's just, he's and he kind of has the audience in the palm of his hand. That was one of the reasons, beside that I was so happy for him that he pulled it off, and the movie meant a lot to me, and it was inspirational. I started trying to get in shape after you see the movie, because you get all caught up in the montage, moments of it all. But there also even was just the idea, though, that Stallone kind of redeemed himself. And he ends up telling his story, because it's like, he kind of shows what it's like to be a star and then kind of become a bit of a laughingstock, like the Rocky character does, and then he has to kind of come back. So, in his own way, he actually tells his story even a little bit more personally in Rocky II than he did in Rocky I. But then the other thing that I'm also kind of gene splicing about was, after I've seen the movie a few times, was the effect that it had on audiences. They really loved Rocky. They wanted the best for him. And there's this one moment, it might just be a mistake of montage or something, but part of the thing in the movie is he has a spending spree that happens at the beginning of the film, where he buys a necklace and he buys jackets and he buys all this loud ass shit. And one of the things he buys is a Trans Am, with the big gold eagle on it. And then now he starts losing all of his money, and he starts trying to get rid of everything. And he's trying to sell Paulie the Trans Am.
Oh, wow.
And then he does. Then when things get lifted up and he's going to fight Apollo Creed, and it starts one of their montages, and things are kind of going good. His wife was in a coma. She's out of the coma now, and she says, "I just want you to do one thing for me." What's that? Win. Mickey, what are you waiting for? And so now it starts the "Gonna Fly Now" montage. And so he starts off by just doing his little jog. So he runs out of his Philadelphia tenement, and you see the Trans Am parked in the back. Now, it could have just be a mix-up of editing that, like, by the time he put that in there, it was meant to be for a scene before he sold the car.
Right. But
it's after he sells the car to Paulie. And the audience is so rooting for him. Everyone in the audience goes, "He's got the car back!" It's like things are going good for him. He got the car back, and now he's running, and now it's all going good. Yeah!
How many times did you see it?
6. 7. In the first engagement alone, yeah.
It would be fun to see them sliced together, maybe.
I've done that from the moment they came out on video.
Okay, so
I had 2 recorders. I cut it together as one movie. I did the same thing with Rocky 1 and 2.